You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I'm your host, dini-mussolini, and we have a very special guest for this segment, so you should definitely stick around for that. Alright guys, I want you to seek the best. You know, joy and fulfillment are not merely possible, they are unavoidable when you truly and sincerely seek them. Greatness is your destiny. There is no virtue in being resigned to a life that's anything less than the very best you can envision. What is the purpose of this day if not to live every moment with joy? True joy is not irresponsible. Rather, it is highly responsible. Living your dream means being responsible to the best that you have to offer. And it is unfortunate that we so often equate happiness with destructive behavior such as revenge or substance abuse or idleness. Lasting happiness and joy results from creative, productive, and disciplined actions. Being happy, joyful, and fulfilled means being the best that you can be. The things you seek with the moments, thoughts, and actions which make up your days you will have. You cannot avoid them. They are yours. Make them the best that they can be. Take that from me, Dini-Mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music or Inside the Book, Inside the Business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos, crystalline or starseeds, or for my Vigilantes audience family, and 2 times for my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 4 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award-winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens. Or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. And that's V as in Victor. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Text that number to your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. Feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much and we take up the entire hour. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we ever aired.
All right, guys, tonight's interview is the rrd-creates interview with Rachel-Ramey. So we are the people who have dedicated their mornings, weekdays, and nights to music, books, movies, news, business ventures, and just talk in general. From our incredible writing and promotion here on our new Facebook page, which you can find that over at Vigilantes Radio. I know a lot of you guys listening right now are probably on Facebook at this very moment. So go ahead on over to our page and slap that like button. We also have an interview and music show, which is what you're listening to now. It's called Vigilantes Radio. Oh, wow. Yeah, surprise. And then we have another show called Skeptics of the Handshake. We kind of dive into intuitive talk, spiritual talk, relationships, money, that kind of thing. All different types of subjects. We invite comedians on, celebrities, and then Average Joe, and kind of just mix the two and have an unscripted talk about things that are going on, you know. It's a pretty funny show. You should check it out. We also have another show called Hated It. That's where Mike and I do movie reviews of all kinds, do voiceover comedy, and tell you what we hate about a movie or a TV show. You should check that out too. Very funny. Anyway, we spend each and every day giving our maximum effort to create a vibrant, indie and professional community for all creative minds that coexist in this beautiful artistic world. Again, our special guest tonight, she's an apparel, costume, and graphic designer. She's the CEO and designer of a company that specializes in custom designs, digital coaching, and social media management for small business. And she's probably Batwoman on the side. So a lot of hats, a lot of things that she do. And she is, there's more. She's also the creator of the upcoming YouTube mega channel, rrd-creates. That's right, mega channel. Calling it now. All right, so join me and let's welcome Rachel-Ramey to our show. Hello, you're now live in with all of us. How's it going?
Great. Thanks so much for having me. Great introduction.
Thank you so much. 2020, we are here at last. How are you feeling about the new year?
I'm good. I'm excited, and, you know, it's kind of been a long time coming for me, and I think 2020 is the year to just make it happen.
Yeah. It has all kind of things that you can create out of 2020, you know, like clear vision, focused, driven, and, you know, has a nice little thing that you can trademark and make it into something, a mantra of some sort. I mean, it's been working for me so far, yeah.
So far, so good, right?
Yeah, so far, so good. So, hello and welcome. You definitely found the right person to interview you. So, I do a form of life coaching, but only in like the musical or the music industry realm. It's a true passion of mine. But let's talk about you. How did you get started on your journey, and what has been your inspirations for taking that leap into the entrepreneur world?
Well, it's definitely great to find a kindred spirit. So the creatives need to meet each other at all times. We are our best support system. But basically, it kind of all goes back like just a while ago. Like you said before, I'm an apparel, costume, and graphic designer in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I actually credit a lot of my creativity and just my love for just about everything, just multi-passionate, from going to a school growing up that was kind of based on like multiple intelligence theory. So basically, we students were just allowed and encouraged to follow our interests. And I just happened to like art and theater and choir and trying to learn as many instruments as possible. And then I went on to go to a more academically driven high school, which was Catholic parochial school. And since I was obviously creative, it was nice to actually have a little bit of structure to focus me. And, you know, I actually found out, hey, I might actually have a business sense. I might actually know how to do math, like little things like that. And then eventually, you know, all that work led up to me going to Kent State and, you know, majoring in fashion design and taking a bunch of business and marketing classes, you know, just to help myself out and getting a quote-unquote real job. But then, you know, once you're in the real job realm, you know, I actually was in apparel, home decor, and a bunch of call center environments. But I just wasn't given positions in the field that I wanted to. So I had to learn, you know, web design and photography and digital marketing and graphic design really for myself to build my own business because, you know, I wasn't getting those opportunities, you know, so I just had to make up something. So that entrepreneurial spirit just came out of necessity. So I took night classes, you know, odd jobs off of Craigslist, unpaid internships, and I still had my full-time job. And it's funny because now my business page and all those new skills that I picked up on the side are actually more valuable than if you were to just look at my real job employment history. So that's kind of the long way around to how I got back to right here and right now, where I'm just trying to kind of make a go of it and share my knowledge with others.
Yeah. I could totally relate to that. Like, when you were working those jobs, like the 9-to-5 sense, did you, I mean, even though you were in the field that you have the degrees for, the studies for, the hours, the expertise in, did you feel like you were caged because there were certain boundaries you couldn't go over, or, you know how it is when you work for a company. You have to play by the rules. You have to show up when they want you to show up, leave when they want you to leave, that type of thing. So how long?
Exactly.
Yeah, how long did it take you though to break out of that cage?
I mean, honestly, it's kind of a seasonal struggle, so to speak, because, you know, you always have, there's that kind of addiction that we have as a society to having, you know, that stable paycheck. You don't want the highs and the lows. You want just, just okay at the very minimum. So, you know, that's always kind of in the back of my mind where it's like, okay, well, I could work a full-time job and it wouldn't be nearly as complex. But, you know, like you alluded to, you know, yes, I was in industry positions, but then the job I wanted was unattainable because of, you know, Susie, who's been there for 30 years, or, you know, there was just always something that would, you know, hold me back. So it was just kind of like, you know, you'd have bosses that didn't take you seriously. You'd have bosses that, you know, were great, but just completely misguided. And, you know, there's all kinds of corporate issues that you deal with the 9-to-5 that you kind of have to overcome, so to speak. So I try to be a little bit more realistic. You know, I don't want to sell people on, you know, you're going to make $1 million tomorrow or anything crazy like that, because there is a lot to learn from the 9-to-5 life, but it's just not for me.
yeah, most definitely. And as you were saying also earlier, you know, you do all sorts of things on the side, and it's kind of hard to show accountability for those on a resume. They're looking at the black and white, but there's so much in between, so many situations where, you know, your mind just kicked in, that entrepreneur mind just kicked in and handled the situation. It's kind of hard to put that on paper. Yeah, and now you're in a position to where you are awakening other people to find their creative entrepreneurial spirit. Let me ask you this, Rachel. During those times, and even for me, it was scary. You know, there was the period of feeling frustrated with the job, working a 9-to-5, building someone else's dream while my dream is sitting in the corner. And it was still like, oh, well, I still have to support my family, so what do I do? What do I do? Do I take a leap of faith and, you know, and make it off of however much I was making per hour on my side gig, you know, my own business? Or, you know, should I stick with this 9-to-5 and just call it a day? So I know that time is scary, it's hard decisions, because especially when you have a family in play and you are in a position where you tell people that it's okay, so at what moment did that light bulb hit you as like, I'm just gonna have to go for it?
I feel like it happens multiple times a year, and it's like, one thing that we run into as creatives is, as creative and fun and vibrant as we are on the outside, we're also, cripplingly, self-conscious and self-aware to the point where we'll stop ourselves from making those decisions. But it definitely, I'd say one particular instance was probably maybe 2 years outside of college. I was working at a call center, and I was sitting there, and like on the side I was teaching painting classes at night, and I was also sewing for like a local vendor in the mornings before I even came to work. And I was like, okay, well, I'm spending 10 hours at work a day, and then I'm going home to work some more, and then I'm waking up to work some more before I go to work, but I get more enjoyment and more fulfillment from the 6 or 7 hours that I do outside of work, and like you said, if you wrote any of those jobs down on a resume, they'd be like, okay, well, that's nice, but, next person. So, it's just once you realize that, the reason that you have all this anxiety and the reason that you're so, negative on yourself is because you're setting yourself up against standards that you don't care about. It just kind of dawns on you. Like, I don't care how many calls I take a day. I don't care, about the quality control of it and things like that. It's like, okay, wait, what do I care about? Is it spending time with my family on the weekends? Is it having more than 2 weeks vacation a year? Is it, expressing myself with paint or sewing or whatever the case may be? So anytime you have that kind of pull in another direction, you just have to pay attention to it and see how you can make it possible for yourself to get outside of the 9 to 5.
Yes, indeed. So what prompted you to start and launch your up-and-coming YouTube channel? It's called rrd-creates.
Well, it really came from my just personal research and my obsession with podcasts and things like that. There's just so many entrepreneurship bloggers and authors and coaches out there now. But I never found one solid place where I could find answers to my questions. Like, I would literally have to listen to 5 different perspectives and kind of draw my own conclusions, for better or worse, to try and figure out, what to do next. When you type in fashion design into Google or how to build a fashion business, most of the suggestions are about how to get on Project Runway or how to make a boutique out of reselling wholesale clothes or how to draw or how to sew a circle skirt. They're all interesting, but that's not what I'm looking for. And not one of those sources actually gives you step-by-step or actionable advice, especially if you're living in Indianapolis or in the Midwest or, just basically anywhere other than New York and LA. There's a lot of kind of open real estate for people that need some advice. None of those sources tell you about how you're going to most likely work as a retail salesperson or a waitress, or you're going to work, like we talked about, a corporate job that has nothing to do with your major. No one tells you how to build a portfolio on your lunch break or how to gain new skills with a 50-hour work week. And no one tells you that you'll probably be struggling to kind of keep your eyes open at work while you're trying to make rent and also do what you really have a passion for. And of course, none of them tell you the long-term effects of accepting pizza and beer as your payment for talent. So, I just wanted to create a space to share real, actionable advice for creatives like me, who, like you said, have, lives to live, bills to pay, and just want to do that with something they actually like to do.
And I believe you're onto something, Rachel, because if you have those questions and that yearning for the knowledge and the steps to take, I believe someone else do too. Especially, I was that someone years ago, wanted to be a music artist, and I would search how to be a music artist, how to sell a record, and there's so many things out there, but there's a lot of gray area, and I get it. Everybody's situation is unique, and it depends on what is it, 80%, what is the word, charisma and 20% talent, you know, that type of thing. But there is no step 1, step 2, step 3. Oh, watch out for this, watch out for that. Step 4, step 5, step 6. Oh, watch out for this, watch out for there's nothing like that. And one year I thought that maybe I could be the one to write those steps, maybe later on in life. But yeah, I get it. If you have those questions and I have those questions, how many other people have those questions about the field they're in or how to be a creative entrepreneur? So hopefully you're on to something, Rachel. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
So who have you learned from or been inspired by to develop your YouTube channel?
It's actually kind of funny. About 5 years ago, I kind of came across the Girl Boss audiobook by Sophia Omarosa. She's really famous for having created the Nasty Gal brand, basically by, you know, reselling clothes on eBay back in the early 2000s. So it was really interesting. The bad thing that I did is that I listened to the audiobook while I was working in corporate dancewear, and while I was listening to it, I was just like getting this fire in me, you know, and it was just, you know, it was one of those things where it's like I listened to it, I got so hype on it, and I got to that point where I was like, if I could make this company $500,000 and I can talk to the international vendors because that's my job, why wasn't I just doing that for myself? So it's just these kind of like aha moments. Like I said, they happen to me all the time, and it just as, you know, in my older age now, you know, my early 30s, to finally pay attention to those little inklings where you would have ignored them before. So I listened to that. I listened to Being Boss podcast, Gold Digger podcast, which are both really inspiring, and definitely I felt a little less crazy for trying to be a creative entrepreneur, but they still didn't really get me because one is like kind of web-based and life coachy, and the other one is a little bit more kind of delves into photography and Instagram and social media marketing. Neither one is a fashion podcast. So again, we're missing that key kind of contributor there. But when it came to like vlogging in general, it was probably about a year ago. I was watching Catnip Illustrations. She's a graphic designer out of England. And she just has these beautiful curated studio vlogs kind of showing her creative process, sharing tips. She's also showing like the shows, like it shows like when her printer breaks down, it shows like the reality of the situation. And she's really popular now, but back when I first found her, she was so nice, and she like responded to my messages and like my questions, and I just, you know, it stuck with me. So, you know, she was definitely a huge contributor to me coming up with, oh, wait, I could probably do that too. Because again, she's still not exactly what I want. So, you know, there's still that open space available. So it was really cool to see her flourish and hopefully have the same trajectory.
Definitely. Wow, we are definitely kindred spirits. I believe we should be like coffee buddies, because I had a similar experience as you. While you were listening to vloggers, I was listening to audiobooks, especially one called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. It's basically about overcoming procrastination and just doing it, even though
my life.
Right. Even though you may not feel like creating, just create something. Just start something. You know, so that's what the whole book's about. It's a very short book. I listen to it every morning, and I was getting these fires. So I began to ask questions, you know, to people above me. They were thinking I was just being a nerd, thinking I just wanted to know stuff, but really I was asking them engineering questions, well, reverse engineering questions, you know, their take on how to do things, and then reverse engineering what they were saying and coming up with a plan of how to cut the middleman off, how to cut the 9-to-5 off. And that's thing, you know, Rachel, I'm out the door, you know, like, oh, what did I just do? This
book I have that tendency too.
Yeah, this book has sparked a fire, and I've quit my job. Oh boy, gotta give it my all now. I'm telling
you, like,
you're
like,
yeah, listening to those things in the wrong moment will spark a fire. I was like, you know what, I can do this.
It's good, but at the same time, the practical side of me says, girl, what were you doing? Too soon. You were not prepared.
For me. Yeah, I was out the door, and I was like, wait, what did I just do? Yeah, but we're here now, buddy. So, what is your advice to any individual wanting to follow your path?
I'd say, even when I feel like, I know it all, we all have those moments when we're just like, this is perfect. I'd just say you don't. Never stop learning, because really those brief moments in between the end of your shift at work and bedtime is where all the magic is going to happen. So, staying in the mindset that you don't know it all, but you're willing to try is really all you need. Honestly, you already have the tools necessary to design your life. You already know the right people. You already know where to find the knowledge that you lack. So even if you don't know how to do graphic design and that's what your passion is, you know how to figure out how to do it. Google, YouTube, you could go to a community college. You know how to achieve what you want. And honestly, if you don't believe that you do, you can always tune into my channel or my blog, and I'm happy to help you get out of your own way, and we can move forward from there. Because everyone has it within them. It's just a matter of utilizing your resources correctly. And, you're just sitting on a gold mine, and you just don't know it yet.
That's right. And what would you say is the number one benefit for any entrepreneur that would potentially partner up with your brand?
That's a great question. I'd say the number one benefit to any entrepreneurs who want to partner with me, bring it on, is basically I bring kind of the corporate results aspect. And I'm very deadline oriented, just in fashion you have to be. There's always a deadline, there's always a fitting, there's always a client, same with graphic design. So I mix that corporate result mindset along with my creativity. So I'm very innovative. I want to work with you to, build your brand, or we can work together to build our brands together. And I'm just as innovative as I am strategic. So, I've worked with a number of local small business owners in building their brands, getting the right messages and the right products to their audiences. And I've even helped businesses kind of take that leap into international manufacturing. So I dream big, but I can still take it one step at a time. And I just love sharing my experience freely. I think everyone in the creative field, could always learn something new. And I hate that sometimes we get that persona or that kind of reputation for being so kind of visualized. So sometimes we'll hold on to these companies' industry secrets and never share them. And it's
Guilty.
What's the point? It's a community. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so, so it's I want you to learn along with me, so it's not a matter of, I know it, you don't, and, you can only talk to me. I want you to learn how to do it for yourself. So, I'd say that, that kind of mindset is probably the best benefit, because you want a partner, you don't want a boss, you don't want to, someone to delegate what you need to do and stuff like that in a partnership.
Yeah. Man, I need to enroll in your class. I'm definitely one of the things I'm working on. Training someone to be me is very difficult when you shoulder a lot of responsibilities. Yeah. So, Rachel, how is it that what you provide bridges that gap of helping people truly find their way to being the creative entrepreneur that they may desire to be?
Yeah, I answer the questions that, kind of like we alluded to before, that we all have had at some point or another. How many times have you been clickbaited to find the secret organic growth trick on social media, or how to find out if, how to make $1 million from a scrunchy business with no experience, no sewing machine, and no business classes. And then their suggestions are to post more content. Well, duh. But what kind of content? How do I know what my audience wants to see if I don't even have an audience? So it's one of those things where, I want it to be a little bit more kind of common. I don't want it to be this kind of pie in the eye idea that you're going to make $1 million tomorrow, like I said before. I want it to be, just easy, conversational, steps that everyone can take, because it's easy to highlight the exceptions to the rules, like the Steve Jobs, and all these people that just have these completely out of this world lives. But no one talks about like the average Ann who just wants to make a living without dreading going to work every day. And it's so crazy to me that things like sewing and cooking, artwork and music aren't looked at as real jobs. I don't really see very many naked, hungry people reading blank pages of books. So obviously there's a purpose for these talents. So I just want to, encourage people to just get out there and do it. And, that's just my angle, as opposed to, over-promising and under-delivering. I just want, to push everyone in a reasonable rate and, let them just be happy with their lives.
Yeah. Great stuff. And final question for you, Rachel. How does rrd-creates fit in today's society of fast clicks, short attention spans, and the ever-changing pop culture of selfies, supermalls, and social media marketing?
I love this question because the whole, let me help you make $1 million really is just so overdone. And it's just such BS, honestly. No one wants to say it, but we're all thinking it. Those of us in marketing and those of us who are just watching the content, we all know it's not a secret. So, everything just seems to be a ploy for attention. And there are just so many out there, so many people just doing the same thing. So I think what's going to set rrd-creates apart is that it comes from a place of inspiration and education. It's possible to be multi-passionate and creative and still make a living. It's not about, the idea of the perfect life and relaxing on the beach while you magically make $3,000 a day. It's about using your talents, improving on those talents, working hard, and, finally seeing the fruits of your labor by paying attention to the new perspectives and, learning new processes over time. It's more like mini lectures, from a reputable source, a teacher's assistant or a professor, not someone who just sells, illegal Baby Yoda t-shirts that they made with their Cricut for extra money. It's someone who's studied, I've stumbled, and I have the credibility to let you know how to achieve your goals. So frankly, it's less about getting rich quick and more about getting your ish together. Basically how I want to, kind of put that out there.
Yeah, I love it. So, Rachel, let everyone know where they can connect with you online.
Awesome. Well, it's been great speaking with you. You can find me on Instagram at rrd-print. Of course, you can find me at rrd-print.com. My YouTube channel that we've talked about today is called rrd-creates. And I recently made an in-depth blog post called 5 Simple Ways to Rock a Vendor Event as a Digital Product Business. No BS, simple actionable steps, plus a list of my go-to items for my own vendor booths. So, I can't wait to build both of those channels and really get to know my audience and just kind of help you guys build everything along the way.
Most definitely. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for being our guest tonight. It was truly an honor getting a chance to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yes, great. And I look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Most definitely. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1media group, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website, and that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the #1 rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.